We've got a brilliant guest this week. We get man of many clubs, Scotland striker Kevin Kyle. Kevin, it's great to have
thanks
you
for
on.
coming, Paul.
No. It's been a while since I've done a sit-down interview.
Brilliant.
Last time was probably Stranraer, 120 years community service, 20 years ago.
He's with us, right? Is that right?
But it's interesting you say that because you're a very familiar face online because of the stuff you do with Open Door. But it's maybe not the same idea. You don't really talk about life and times.
No, this is sometimes these are quite good because it refreshes the memory of the good that you did do, the bad that you did do, and it's always great to try and reflect on. And sometimes like there might be a story in there that could be relevant to somebody at this moment in time. But no, obviously known Frank for a while, so obviously open goal initially. A hero of mine as a kid growing up when I first started watching Celtic. I think my first game was maybe 1990, 91 maybe. And I remember leaving Parkhead with a picture of Frank. I probably wasn't the only one, Frank. I'll get you to sign it if I can find it. I think I've got the programme.
What was he doing in the photograph? Was he interrupting?
No, it was just that cheeky smile. With I think it might have been maybe C.R. Smith strip, I can't remember. But no, I wanted to be Frank McAvenny, but
right, so
that's a big ask.
Well, let's address that then straight off, right? So, I mean, I didn't realise until you came in that you were a Celtic supporter as a boy, but you played for Rangers. And did that bring any problems?
That's my wee brother. My wee brother Paul. We grew up like my dad. How do I describe it? Like growing up in Stranraer. Stranraer's not like Glasgow. So growing up as a Celtic fan in Stranraer, I don't think I left Stranraer until I was maybe 13, 14 in terms of like going somewhere else. I think I went to Ayrshire Centre for a new pair of boots or something. I think that's as far as we travelled as a kid. So supporting Celtic as a boy for Stranraer, I only supported Celtic because my dad took me to a Celtic game. So I became a Celtic supporter. My wee brother took my wee brother, he became a Celtic, and I don't know what happened to my big brother, but he became a Rangers fan. So I don't know what happened there. So we were a mixed supporting family. And obviously played went and did what I did with the football, and then moved into Kilmarnock. So that's when I really got my first taste of what being a Celtic and Rangers fan was like in a Glasgow environment. And it's different. It's totally different. Whether it be religion or whether it be the hatred and stuff, you actually see it. Whereas in Stranraer growing up, we would all sit in the same pub, each other, and it wouldn't matter. I would give a bit to the Rangers fans, they would give a bit to me. So that's how it was. But that day when I ended up getting the deal to actually sign with Rangers and made it official, my wee brother phoned me, and I thought, here's the first phone call to congratulate me. And he says, what have you done to the family? And I was like, I says, is it that bad? He says, fuck, I don't know if I can speak to you anymore. So, and my big brother's obviously in the other he was buzzing. And I says, Paul, look, we don't always like our job. I said, so I'm here to do a job. And however he actually ended up, he maybe don't like me telling this, but he did come to Ibrox to watch me. And he says that all the games that he's ever watched me playing, that was the proudest he's probably felt because of the circumstances.
That's lovely. That's really nice.
So no, he's a proper Celtic fan. He's the kind of guy that'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to Ross County away on a Sunday afternoon to watch the boys. So and then my big brother, I think his boy Logan, my cousin, my nephew, they go and watch Rangers games. But I've got that now. I've got 4 boys. I've got a Sunderland season ticket holder. I've got 2 Celtic fans, and my youngest is a Rangers fan. So
brilliant. Wow.
It's just hard when the wee man says to me, Dad, when are you going to take me to a Rangers game? So I'm still scared to get back to Ibrox. I'm not too sure what the feeling is.
But that in itself's interesting because I mean, obviously you're very honest about this. And do you ever get any kind of grief off Rangers fans?
It's funny. I had obviously I drive for Uber, a taxi driver. I've done it for 10 years, and I picked up a guy one night in the back seat, and he was chatting away, and then he quickly realised who I was, and he says, "Fuck, you're that Kevin Kyle." She says, "You're the worst player ever to fucking play for Rangers." I says, "Am I?" I says, "The difference between me and you, pal, is," I says, "you go to pay to watch Rangers." I says, "I fucking scored in there, and you'll never score in there." I says, and then I end up finding it was one of my best pals' brother. But I don't get too much grief. You just get that typical banter and stuff. And at the end of the day, at that moment in my life, it was Rangers was a godsend for me. Would I like that opportunity at a different time? Possibly. But my dream as a kid was always to grow up play for Celtic, score the winner against Rangers at Ibrox and give it Yeehaw. That was, I think most kids have that, whether they're Rangers or Celtic, but it never happened. And I always said that I only signed with Rangers because they were in the 3rd division. They were no chance of playing Celtic anyway. So, but no, joking aside, it was I was quite proud to play for Rangers. The way I looked at it is I was a Scottish football fan. I was Scottish, and I thought that playing for either one of the two old firms is an achievement in itself.
Well, it's interesting actually, the two of you, right? Because you're talking about the difference between grown-ups and somewhere like Stranraer, which is, you know, I hesitate to say back and beyond, but it's out it's not a city. No. You grew up in the Milton. You often talk about Soonest trying to sign you as well, and how you couldn't possibly do it. What if you lived in somewhere like Stranraer or in the Highlands or whatever? I think it'd be any different. But think very carefully about answering this. Frank McAvenny, Celtic legend.
Probably not. I mean, it was just, for me at the time, and Kevin will talk about it, he'd probably get different reasons for signing. But for me, it's just, I always wanted, I was in England and I had offers to go elsewhere. So I didn't have to, but I just wanted to sign for Celtic. I just wanted to play for Celtic, and that was the only Scottish team that had come back. My manager knew that because there was Italian clubs and all that. And hindsight, I should have went there. But when Celtic came in, that was it. You know, it was.
Well, when you were at your peak with Sunderland and playing in English top flight, was Celtic was there ever a possibility? Any inquiries?
The only time I ever got any wind of Celtic was when I came back to Kilmarnock, and that first period when I was back at Kilmarnock. I think there was only maybe 15, 16 games left this season. I think I scored 8 or 9 goals to keep Kilmarnock in the league at the time. And I think we played Celtic midweek. And I think Gordon Strachan was the manager of Celtic at the time. And at that time, and this is no being disrespectful, the way I played the game as a target man, aggressive and physical, I quite enjoyed playing Celtic centre-halves more than I did so against Rangers centre-halves, because I felt Stephen McManus I could get the better of. There was Glenn Louvens. There was, I think it was another Danish boy.
Thomas Ronje, maybe?
No, I can't remember. But I always felt, I'm looking forward to playing against these two. I think the next season they signed Mastorovic, which I didn't look forward to because me and him collided at Tynecastle, and I swear to God, man, I thought I'd been hit by a bus. It was like, it was just like, I felt as though I was in a car crash. He was that strong. But I remember thinking, I've got these two, I'll just pin them up and I'll hold the ball and I'll lay it off and I'll do my stuff, I'll get in the box. And I remember even, I think a long ball came in and I brought it down to my chest, and I think I seen one of the Celtic defenders and I flicked it to his head and got it on the other side right in front of Strachan. And that night, Gary Caldwell had phoned me and says, Kev, the manager's wondering what you're up to next year. And I was like, what do you mean? He says, he likes you. He says, I think, maybe I could be wrong, but I think Jan Venner Goreslink was maybe coming to the end of his Celtic time. And they were looking for like somebody maybe to replace. So I would only have been like maybe, 29? And I felt fit, I felt hungry. I felt like the reason I came to Kilmarnock was that I thought if I could put on some kind of resemblance of performance I did in England, I think I would suit one of the Old Firm teams, because most Old Firm teams at that time had a target man. If you think of, like, they had Sutty and John Hartson, Rangers had Big Tomo actually played, and they always had a big guy, wee guy kind of thing. And I always felt if I can go and do well for Kilmarnock, I'll get a move to one of the Old Firm. That was always the thinking at the back, like subconsciously. It was like a quiet thought, but and then Strachan, I think, ended up going to Middlesbrough, and that was it.